In the 1980s, Japan was unstoppable. Its economy grew faster than any in the world. Tokyo real estate was worth more than all the land in America. The stock market hit record highs. Everyone feared Japan would own the future. And then, it all collapsed. What followed wasn't a crash. It was something worse, a decade that disappeared. A period of prosperity that turned into paralysis. And today, every major economy on Earth is repeating the same mistakes Japan made. This is the story of the lost decade, and why the entire world is walking right into the same trap. After World War II, Japan rebuilt itself at lightning speed. By the 1970s, it was a global manufacturing powerhouse. Cars, the cameras made in Japan of perfection. But in 1985, the world changed. The US pressured Japan to sign the Plaza Accord, forcing the yen to strengthen against the dollar. Almost overnight, Japanese exports became far more expensive. To keep the economy growing, Japan did what every country does. It lowered interest rates and expanded credit. It worked for a while. Money flooded into stocks and real estate. Tokyo's property prices soared 500% in less than 5 years. Banks lent freely, corporations borrowed recklessly. Ordinary citizens became paper millionaires. By 1989, the value of Tokyo's Imperial Palace grounds was estimated to be worth more than the entire state of California. It was the biggest financial bubble the world had ever seen. But every bubble has a breaking point. In 1990, and the Grace Ray a little trying down the spillation. That tiny change popped a $10 trillion bubble. Within a single year, stock prices fell by 40%. Property values plunged. Investors panicked. Banks were left holding mountains of bad loans. And suddenly, the unstoppable engine of Japan stopped. But what came next wasn't a crash you could simply rebuild from. It was something deeper, something far more dangerous, a psychological collapse. From 1991 onward, Japan entered a new era. Zero growth, zero confidence, and zero optimism. The government tried everything. They lowered interest rates to zero. They bailed out banks. They injected stimulus package after stimulus package. But nothing worked. People stopped spending. Businesses stopped investing. Money stopped moving. Japan had fallen into a liquidity trap, a black hole, where no matter how much money the central bank printed, it couldn't create growth. The more they tried to fix it, the worse it became. The stock market eventually lost 80% of its value. Real estate prices fell for 15 straight years. Wages stagnated. Entire generations postponed marriage, children, and buying homes. The government's debt soared past 200% of its GDP. The economic miracle was gone. And the 1990s became known to the world as the lost decade. But Japan didn't just face an economic collapse, it faced a mental one. When prices fall every single year, people stop buying things. Why would you buy today when you know it'll be cheaper tomorrow? So demand falls further. Companies are forced to lower their prices even more, and the downward spiral just deepens. It's not the fear of inflation, it's the fear of spending. Economists call this deflationary psychology. It's invisible, silent, and absolutely devastating. Even when interest rates hit zero, people still saved their money instead of spending it. Even when the government sent them money directly, people just hoarded it. Trust in the future had died, and without trust, an economy cannot grow. By the 2000s, Japan had become a warning sign for the rest of the world. To keep the system alive, the Bank of Japan did something revolutionary. It began printing money to buy government bonds directly. We now know this as quantitative easing, or QE, a phrase that every central bank in the world now uses. America adopted it after the 2008 crisis. Europe followed. China does it quietly. For Japan, it worked temporarily. The collapse stopped. But real growth never returned. Debt just kept rising. The population kept aging. And the country entered a strange new normal. No inflation, no growth, no escape. Japan didn't die. It just stopped moving. And today, the rest of the world is walking down the exact same path. Since 2020, the US, Europe, and China have printed more money than Japan ever did. Zero interest rates. Massive government spending. Quantitative easing on a global scale. And now, what are we seeing? Inflation is back. Debt is exploding. Productivity is slowing down. Every central bank believes they can control the outcome, that they can print wealth without consequences. But that is exactly what Japan believed back in 1989. Japan thought it could manage its way out of its own excess. Instead, it created a world where debt replaced growth and complex policy replaced genuine productivity. It has been 30 years. Japan still hasn't escaped. And now, the same medicine is being prescribed globally, but in higher doses than ever before. History doesn't repeat itself perfectly, but it certainly rhymes. Japan's lost decade wasn't just Japan's story. It was a preview of what was to come. If you want to understand where the global economy is heading next, make sure you follow and subscribe. Because the trap Japan fell into 30 years ago is on we ring in today.